Unstoppable Gestures proudly presents Real Boxing with legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan Freeman. I appreciate that, sir, being available to do the great man's intro. But guys, if this is Tuesday night and it's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, that means only one thing. That means we're going to be seeking the counsel of our dear friend, living legend, badass trainer, Mr. Ronnie Shields. Ronnie, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing great, man.
And guys, to help me rattle off this week's edition of Fact or Fiction, couldn't do this without my brother, Mr. Boxing Source, the incomparable J.R. Bell. How you doing, James?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Here we are with another great episode of Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields.
Oh, I'll tell you what, music to my ears. And guys, you right now are salve for the soul. I need my boxing brethren today because my dear friend, Mr. William Walker, just passed away about an hour ago, leaving behind 2 daughters. So rest in peace, my friend. We'll meet again someday. Tell you what, so thank you for being here, guys. And thank you, too, my friends, for doing the show with me. But you know what, Ronnie? Boy, PBC's first big-time event on Amazon Prime seemed to go off without a hitch. That was until Errol Spence Jr. jumped in the ring afterwards. Woo! How do you like that, brother? That was a shocker to a lot of people. It wasn't to you, and it wasn't to me either. We'll get into that in a bit, but JR, what did you think of the looked about 200-pound version of Errol Spence Jr. getting in the ring post-fight? What did you think of that, my friend?
I would say he looked at least 185 pounds, to say the least. That's number one. But you know, number two, and I know that we're going to touch on this a little bit on it. But you know, ever since Errol Spence had made that post on Twitter, it pretty much had boxing fans in a tizzy, and it kind of showed who moves the needle in a sense when it comes to the sport of boxing. And ever since that day, there's a certain group of fans that have been triggered. I'm gonna just say that.
Oh, boo! Well, hey, man, if you don't like it, there's always Jerron Boots Ennis at 40. How do you like that? I'm sure he'd be willing to meet you at 47. Oh, you know what? I'm giving away the fight plan. Oh, darn it. Well, I'll tell you what, let's just get on with it then, shall we? Shall we just get on with it? Where's Floyd when I need him? Where's Floyd when I need him? Here he is.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Big James, the honors numero uno, please.
Hey, come on, Joseph. Come on, Ronnie. Let's go.
Woo! Gotta love some Floyd.
Here we go. Number one. Are you ready, Coach Ronnie?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. If Golden Boy Promotions had chosen to strike a deal with Teofimo Lopez instead of Devin Haney as Ryan Garcia's opponent on April 20th, Barclays Center would have sold out in less than a week. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Ooh.
I don't think so.
So you don't think Devin Haney's the culprit? What would you attribute, though, lagging ticket sales to?
Well, I just think that people are reading too much about Ryan may fight, he may not fight. And, you got to be positive with these things, man. You just read too much stuff that maybe he'll fight, maybe he won't fight. And I think people are just they waiting. You know, they's waiting, and I think it'll be a last minute, you know, hike in sales. I really do. But I just think that, you know, with things that's being written about Ryan right now, you know, it's not looking favorable for the fight. So people aren't sure whether he's going to step in the ring or not.
So you think all of this talk about the Illuminati and eyes wide shut parties, you don't think that's been healthy for interest in ticket sales ultimately?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, geez. I tell you what. And, you know, it's funny. You went out on a limb, and 2 weeks ago, you said, you know what? If Ryan says he's the prophet and he says he was chosen by our Lord and Savior right after Easter, sir, and happy Easter, by the way, guys.
Yes,
But
and you.
yeah, thank you, sir. And you know what? You went out on a limb and said, well, you know what? He believes this. Let's just wait and see how this unfolds. And you're very prophetic because a lot of people as of late are claiming that, well, maybe they are to blame for the lack of ticket sales up to this point. Maybe it's a conspiracy. And we believe Ryan Garcia has been telling the truth of all the atrocities that has taken place and that he has been witness to. Your thoughts about the latest conspiracy theories for Ryan Garcia?
Well, I haven't heard the latest, so I can't say what what it is because I don't know. But will he fight? I don't know. That's still up in the air, I guess.
Do you think Canelo being ringside with a watchful eye over Ryan Garcia's latest sparring? Do you think that was a contrived effort to try and bolster ticket sales as well?
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. That's why else would Canelo be there? You know,
No.
why else? Why else would he be watching? You know.
Exactly. I'll tell you what. Geez. James, do you have any questions for Mr. Shields regarding this very perplexing issue?
I mean, my thing. My thing was in reference to this fight in general. Like, and we kind of like discussed this earlier. That I just feel like having it where it is kind of like affected ticket sales to me. Also,
Yep.
There's
As
like
well as the prices.
it's like two factors. One, the actual matchup itself, because fight fans kind of like see Devin Haney as a significant favorite, and so they don't really like see Ryan Garcia maybe having that much of a shot of defeating Devin Haney, for one. And then number two, for it being in the East Coast instead of in the West Coast, that would definitely affect ticket sales too. So that's the two things that stand out for me in reference to the fight in general. But thing is, like I had already posted, on my channel that I just didn't feel like Ryan Garcia was going to make it to April 20th. We still got some time, but
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks, and it just the whole thing is not looking good. As of right now, I haven't seen like any supporting matchups for this fight card. So I'm not sure how this is going to turn out.
Do
Well,
anybody know why they switched it and they put it in New York?
yes, because apparently there's a blackout for anything that's within a month of the T-Mobile Arena and Las Vegas Cinco de Mayo weekend. And so they were forced, and there was no suitable venue
Right.
in California, so they were forced to put it at Barclays. Bonus fact or fiction for you, sir. Fact or fiction, Ronnie. Ryan Garcia will have a quote unquote injury between now and April 20th, and they'll be forced to reschedule the highly anticipated WBC 140-pound title fight. Fact or fiction?
I'm gonna say fiction. Look, man, Ryan is a fighter. He's gonna fight. He talks too much trash. Not to,
Oh boy.
but no, I believe in Ryan, man. I believe this kid is, he's gonna fight. I really believe that. I think, he's just getting in Devin Haney's head right now and everybody else's head. And, I think this guy's training hard, and I think he's going to show up April 20th.
Well, I tell you what, I, for one, am really looking forward to the event, even though most critics and fans are looking at this as a one-sided mismatch.
Wow.
We'll see. Can you see that happening, Ronnie?
Just looking at both guys' styles, I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be close throughout the fight. Ryan is probably the stronger fighter, even though he's moving up in weight. But he walks. People know he walks around big. He's a big guy. He's not a small. He's not a small fighter. So, and he packs up a pretty good punch. But Devin Haney is probably the better boxer per se. But if Ryan can get in and hit him and hurt him with a few shots, then that can change how the fight is going to go. So I think Ryan has a good shot in this fight. I think it's going to be a great fight, though.
Yes, I agree. It's just a damn shame that Thomas Taylor, the referee in charge of the action for the co-main event this past Saturday, can't be in New York as well, because my biggest fear is Ryan Garcia will land something that gets the attention of Devin Haney, and he'll resort to, well, his best imitation of an octopus for the remainder of the fight. Do you see that happening, Coach Ronnie? Can you hear me, Coach?
I can hear you now.
Okay, very good. So do I need to repeat that entire thing? I guess I do. Let's do it.
Yes, you do.
It's a damn shame that referee Thomas Taylor can't be in New York, the referee in charge of the co-main event action this past Saturday. Because do you see Ryan Garcia landing something of significance, getting Devin Haney's attention, and Devin Haney resorting to his best octopus impression for the remainder of the fight?
I didn't hear the last part. I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Huggy Bear, Devin Haney. Right. Are you afraid of excessive holding once Ryan Garcia gets his attention?
No, I don't think. I don't know, man. But that's the reason why we have a referee. And as long as everybody do their job, they would stop that. They would stop him from holding if that's what he resorts to do. And if they were smart, they would bring that up. When the referee come in to give instructions, that should be the number one thing that they bring up about excessive holding. And so the referee, and I'm sure the referee, whoever it may be, well, I'm sure he's going to be looking at film of both guys just to see what may help him out when he gets in there.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, I hope the fight comes off as planned, and I look forward to, another edition of the Theater of the Unexpected. Once again, guys, in the Theater of the Unexpected, that is boxing. Yes, anything can and often does happen. And I love it. Absolutely love it. Next one, please, Big James.
Yeah, real quick. As long as it's Harvey Dock and not Kenny Bayless, then we should be pretty good.
Man, I like Kenny Bayless, man.
As a man, he's a great guy as well as being a snazzy dresser.
Yeah.
But at this juncture of his career, stay far away from any big-time events, Kenny. You've done your job. Now, please enjoy a retirement right next to Tony Weeks. Jeez.
All right.
I love this one. I can't wait to get Coach's reaction after this one.
Here we go with number 2. Santos. No, I'm going to do it again. Canelo Alvarez is promised to deliver a big surprise to his Mexican fight fans on May 4th will be the announcement of a fight with David Benavidez this fall. Fact or fiction?
I'm gonna say fiction.
Oh, boo!
I'm gonna say fiction.
Damn it!
You know, if that fight happens, it's not going to be this year. I see it maybe next year. That fight may happen next year, but I really see it happening at 175 pounds, not at 116.
Ooh!
Wow! Do you smell that, James? I'm sorry. Please elaborate some more, Coach Ronnie.
No, I mean, I just think that, I think Canelo fights this fight with Jaime Munguia. Then he has another fight in September. Then after that, I think he's gonna go up in weight. I think he's gonna finish out his career at 175. That's just a guess, but
So bigger money fight, Coach. Bigger money fight and bigger opportunity. The
absolutely.
undisputed 75, or here, listen, the undisputed 75 title against the winner of Dmitry Bivol versus Arthur Beterbiev or David Benavidez at 175. Which is the bigger? Which one do you think Canelo goes for?
I think he goes for Benavidez.
Woo!
Absolutely.
Ah, boy, I tell you what, the least scary opponent. I don't know, man. Those three guys, what a triumvirate at 75 for Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pick your poison. How do you want to get your ass whooped? Oh, boy. JR, do you have any questions for our esteemed living legend?
And well, in reference to this, seeing that, you said fiction for Benavidez in the fall, do you have any likely opponents for Canelo Alvarez in the fall, maybe?
Osvari. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Well, I don't think he wants Osvari. But
no, hell no. Hell no.
He's still, I still got my guy still sitting there. Jamal Charlo is still there. He's there. And look, Travis Crawford said he'll go up and do it. Errol Spence might even try to go up and do it. So it's a lot of people that he can fight. But just to lay it out there and say, hey, he's going to fight this guy. No. I mean, who knows?
Oh, boy. Terrence Bud Crawford. That's interesting. And that is arguably the biggest fight he can now have in North America outside of a big-time event with David Benavidez. Oh, I have a feeling you may be the soothsayer on this one, Coach. Even though you didn't quite say that now, did you?
No, not at all.
Woo! James, what say you? Do you think Coach Ronald Shields knows something that we don't?
Maybe something that I'm not sure what, but he might know something.
Oh, look at that. The cat that just ate the canary. We see you, Ronnie. Oh, boy. Let's move on, brother. This is too cool, though. And after this next one, we're going to say hello to our dear friends in the chat.
All right, here we go.
Number 3, sir.
Number 3. Despite all the April Fool's posts on social media, Mike Tyson, I'm Mike Tyson.
Dude, that is good.
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul will take place on July 20th with a shocking and decisive first-round knockout for Iron Mike. Fact or fiction?
Wow.
Oh, that's going to be a fact, man. All Mike got to do is
wow. From what I was just told by the commission a couple days ago, it looks like it's going to be an 8-round fight. And the only way anyone's going to be able to win is by way of knockout.
Yep.
And if it does go the full 8, it'll be ruled a no contest.
Yes.
Isn't that incredible?
Well, it takes people outside of boxing to put in new rules inside of boxing.
Jeez. Well, I tell you what, someone has to stoke the fires here, because there's already, Coach, a ton of interest from everyone in all walks of life circling their calendar for July 20th.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell you what, this is why. Boy, can you imagine? I think the clouds would lift, the sun would come out, and everything would be great in the world if Mike Tyson indeed delivered a first-round knockout.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I think he's going to try. I really
yeah. He sure seems to be working hard. Yeah. I tell you what, though. Yeah. Hey, did you see the thumbnail for this show, guys? Who is that young guy standing right next to Iron Mike Tyson? That was you, Ronnie.
Yep.
Oh, what a photo. And that was right before your in the in Memphis, was it?
In Memphis, yes.
That's right. Tell you what an amazing event. And let's hope this one delivers just as much drama. But this time, Mike Tyson delivering the knockout coup de grace. I tell you what, guys, this is going to be one of the most substantial and pivotal fights in recent memory for our beloved boxing. JR,
it's not pay-per-view, though.
It's not pay-per-view. Yes.
Nope.
That's going to be on regular subscriber Netflix. I think that's one of the things that has people most excited for this.
Yeah.
JR, worst case scenario. How do you think? What is the worst case scenario for this fight playing out on July 20th, if you had to say so?
Listen, Joseph, the worst case scenario is if I don't show up.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, you know what, Ronnie?
I'm going to show up. I'm going to make it. And it don't matter if it's 8 rounds, 4 rounds, or 1 round. I'm knocking Jake Paul out. And I'm bringing Coach Ronnie Shields. I'm bringing everybody. And you're going to see 100 million people watching.
You know what, Ronnie? But when James said that, he said that for a reason. With Mike Tyson, and you know him better than most, that's a distinct possibility now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, because he doesn't need the money.
But
at least not that I know of.
Right. He would show up. He would definitely be there.
Well, I tell you what, instead of George Foreman grills, instead of grills, he's a cannabis cultivator now.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, that's where he's made the great majority of his millions as of late. So, yeah, he doesn't need the money. But, yeah, that's always a fear of Mike Tyson not showing up and standing up everybody.
Mike could be there.
No,
He'll be there, folks.
I hope so. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you for geez. JR?
I ended my podcast hotboxing so I could focus on this fight. I'm knocking him out.
Oh, my gosh. He did that, too, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Just stay off the shrooms, brother. Stay off the shrooms and stay away from the local weed. Seeing out. Guys, at this time, about midway through the show, we're going to say hello to our dear friends in the chat. First up to bat, our brother Tyco TV. Welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach on this day. And then my brother G Funky Boxing. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to our brother G Funky Boxing. Always does a great job. And guys, if you haven't heard it yet, well, I can't say that. Never mind. I was going to give away the fight plan. Jeez. Also, our brother Roscoe Jones. Welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach on this day. Also, my brother Tycho reminds everyone to please press that like button. Do it for Johnny, guys. Do it for Johnny. Shoot. I'm aging myself quoting The Outsiders with Matt Dillon. Jeez. And our good friend Adolfo Orta, he says, salute Joseph, the boxing voice and the incomparable Coach Ronnie. What are the boxing source? Yeah, we knew what you meant. What are your thoughts on the resurgence of Lara's power late in his career, or was that the result of, just underwhelming version of Michael Zarafa?
Yeah, I could have knocked that guy out.
Oh! What are your thoughts on his detractors, though? Nonito Donaire's detractors blaming this on Michael Zarafa, or blaming this instead of on a great version of Erislandy Lara at 42 on, Nonito's lack of experience as chief second.
Well, look, you can't blame the coach for this guy having a weak chin. I mean, that's not the coach's fault. Look, Lara caught him with a good shot, caught him. That's Lara's favorite punch, is you walking right into that left hand, because he puts his whole body weight behind that one punch. He's always had that punch. He's always thrown it. It always works for him, but it just, the other guy didn't have a chin. I mean, so there's nothing a coach can do. Dude, you can't build a chin. You already have to have that steadiness of when you get hit to be able to shake punches off. And undoubtedly, this kid didn't have that. But Lara caught with a good shot, and and he sat down on the shot, so all his body weight went into the punch. Yep. So this guy felt it, and he just couldn't do nothing about it.
Indeed. I tell you what. So guys, don't hang that one on future Hall of Famer Filipino Flash. Can't do that. That's not right. And once again, guys, he just started training fighters full time. Give him some time. I'm sure it took Eddie Futch longer than 2 years to become the great Eddie Futch. Right?
Everybody.
Come on, guys.
It takes time, man.
That's it.
It takes time. Absolutely.
Yep. Indeed. And Tycho TV, regarding our, first fact or fiction, he says, if Ryan hurts Devin, he will finish him. Oh, we'll have to wait and see what happens, guys. April 20th. Our brother Anthony C. Yep. Welcome to the show, sir. And guys, Anthony, I have 2 tickets for you for the upcoming May 3rd TMB event at the Scottish Rite Temple downtown in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for supporting our coach on this day. Look forward to my emailed correspondence with all of the information. But thank you for supporting War Week Boxing. Thank you for supporting the Boxing Source, and thank you for especially supporting Coach Ronnie Shields. And our brother, Toby Bartlett. Welcome to the show, sir. Salute to you, my friend, and thank you for supporting Coach Ronnie on this day. Now, James, where were we, sir?
Now we're at number 4. I'm going with number 4.
Here comes the main event of the evening.
12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. Number 4. Despite the efforts of the WBO and Team Crawford, Bud will price himself out of a fight against junior middleweight titleist Sebastian Fundora, making way for a voluntary title defense against Errol Spence Jr. later this year, with Tszyu guaranteed to fight the winner. Fact or fiction?
That was a mouthful.
That could be a fact, because it's going to go to a purse bid, more than likely. And he's not going to like the money. Crawford is not going to like the money. Unless he just want to go and say, I'm going to just go grab this belt at 154. And, he's that confident to do that, to say, I'm just going to not worry about the money, and I'm going to just knock Errol Spence out of this fight and go ahead on and do it. But on the flip side of that, Fundora may just give up the WBO and fight Spence for the WBC.
Yeah. You know what? That's exactly how I see it playing out, sir.
Yes, that's kind
Because
of
yeah,
what I figured.
Mhm. And you know what? And obviously, PBC, they remember all too well what a colossal pain in the rump Terrence Crawford is to negotiate with. Hey, and you know what? The funny thing, if he's demanding this from the WBO, right,
Right.
enforcing this mandate, why wasn't he at the fight?
Yeah. Well, I can't say why he was at the fight, but here's another thing. You got to understand too that Sampson is the promoter for Fundora, so he would have to deal with Sampson and PBC. So
Mm-hmm.
he got to deal with both of them, not just PBC. So
Okay. Well,
I,
we
I
want to
think it's a
welcome our
wait and see
brother
thing.
G up. I'm sorry. My apologies. For some reason, there's a lag coming on here. My apologies, guys. And my apologies to you, Coach Ronnie. I didn't mean to cut you
Oh
off there.
no, no
Um,
problem.
we want to welcome G up to the show, and he says this. Fundora's manager already said that Tszyu will be next in November if he wants it. Coach,
No,
money talks in this business, correct?
yeah, money talks and BS walks. So
Yeah.
here's the thing. I understand that, but he didn't have a rematch clause. I don't think they had a rematch clause in the contract. Fundora definitely would want to fight him again, because it was such a great fight that,
Mm-hmm.
I think it deserves a rematch. But
Indeed.
with the mandatory above their head, you know, it's hard. It's going to be hard for, they don't think they have enough money to say for Terrence Crawford to step aside and let that fight happen again. So, and he won't do it.
Nope. He won't do it.
But I see Errol Spence getting this fight because of PBC.
Indeed. Can you see this fight taking place on AT&T at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas?
Oh, without a doubt, I could see that.
Yep.
I mean,
Indeed.
look, you have to pay Fundora a lot of money. He's going to have to make a lot of money. So the site fee somewhere else is probably not going to even compare to what they're going to offer in Dallas. So, and for Fundora, that's a win-win situation for you.
Indeed. No, G Up responds. He, Samson Lukowitz. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's doing this because he's a man of honor, he said. He said that his word is his word. Now, Samson also understands there are only two reasons why you're in this business, Coach Ronnie.
That's it.
Second is to make more money. That's it, guys. That's it.
That's it.
So this is a business. And, well, he is a man of his word, and that's why I interjected, well, I am a man of my word, so you can have the winner, guaranteed. Right?
Absolutely.
And Samson is indeed a stand-up guy. He's a great guy, and everyone has a lot of respect for Samson Lukowitz in this business.
Yeah.
Indeed. Eric Rosas, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Coach, Fundora will beat Spence. Now that he uses jab, it's going to be very difficult to get past that style. Fact or fiction? Bonus.
That could be a little bit of both. The thing about it is, yes, he's using his jab, but it's not that hard stinging jab that would keep somebody off of you.
Mm-hmm.
He's busy with it, but it doesn't really mean anything because, you got to just know how to get around it and away from it. And if Spence would get away from it and counter behind something, then, unless you have a really hard jab, it doesn't matter. You got to have a jab that's enough to keep somebody off. He really couldn't keep Tszyu off with it.
Mm-mm.
Right.
What helped him was the blood coming down Tszyu's face, and he was stepping around pretty good. So he knew what to do, and he was very smart in doing what he did. So, you know, but but I don't see his jab being a factor in the fight with Errol Spence.
You know what? And once again, I don't think it was the long, steady jab. I think it was that long, steady elbow of his that won him the fight. No discredit to Seabass. He fought a gallant fight, and credit to Tszyu, regardless of what his critics are saying. Oh, he should have stopped the fight. Thank God he didn't, because we witnessed a great main event on Amazon Prime and PBC. Hats off to you.
Yeah.
And so keep in mind. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ronnie.
No, I was just going to say that, it's easy to, being on the outside looking in, because, I try to put myself in situations. What would I have done in that case? Being the trainer, there's a lot of questions have to be asked and have to be right away, And since it happened at the end of the second round, you got 2 rounds to think, right? Let me see on the third round how my fight is going to do. But the first thing you have to find out first is, what did the referee call? Did he call an accidental elbow? If it didn't, if he said it was a punch, then you got a problem. Because now you can't think about stopping it. You can't think about saying, hey, but remember, only the referee can stop the fight. So what I would have done after the end of that, after the bell rang after the second round, I would have called the referee over and made sure that he called it was an elbow that caused the cut and not a punch. That's the first thing you have to find out before you let anything go. Secondly, I would have had the doctor to come into the corner to take a look. And tell you the truth, I would have told my cut man, don't put nothing on it. Let it bleed. Because after the third round, I would have called the referee and said, look, we can't stop it. We can't stop the cut. I would have had the doctor come in and say, Doc, we can't stop the cut. It's too big. And it's going in his eyes. He can't see. He's feeling lightheaded. This is a no contest.
And there it is.
That's the way I would have did it.
I tell you what, we love it, Coach. We love it. I tell you what, spoken like a pro. Take that, Tim Bradley. Thank you. Thank you for your fact or fiction, Eric. And welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. G, he says, time will tell, I guess. That's the reason why we all love boxing, guys. Because the truth always reveals itself in time. Love boxing. Sid UK, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Samson has as much principle in his words as a politician. This is business. No, this is exactly what he's going to say. They're going to announce the Spence fight, okay? And he's going to say, look, Tim, it's not fair to him. He needs time for that cut to heal, and he needs to get back into training. But I am indeed a man of my word. He will get the winner, guaranteed. And there it is. Now, one last thing about Errol Spence Jr., Coach Ronnie.
Yep.
Is he a shot fighter? And will we see that version of Spence against Seabass Fundora in Arlington later this year?
I don't think Errol's a shot fighter at all. I think the weight had a lot to do with it. Trying to cut that weight, man. He's been holding that weight forever, for a very long time. And as you get older, it gets harder and harder to make that weight. And so I really believe that played a big difference in the fight when he fought Crawford. I really do. And, it just didn't look right going into that fight. And I really and truly believe that it was because of the weight. So I think with him going up to 154, that's going to be miles and miles of difference between how he feels. And I really believe he's going to be a lot stronger at 154 pounds. So, but, you can't take Fundora lightly in this thing because, he's champion now. And this, this adds like 30%, 30 to 40%, you know, in your psyche, that's going to make you better.
Very good. I love the analysis, Coach. And woof, the plot thickens. The plot thickens, guys. Buckle up because a lot's going to transpire. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, James. Do you have anything to add to that, sir?
I'm gonna see if I could run through this part real quick because the interesting thing is with the WBO's involvement of it of course metals up things, but they had initially announced the whole thing with the mandatory days before the fight took place, right? The only thing that kind of muddled things up a little bit beforehand was adding the WBC title onto it. Now, when it comes to the WBO and them, ordering the mandatory, I find it interesting because regardless of who the winner was going to be, it was going to be Crawford as the mandatory challenger. And with him being the mandatory challenger, if it went to purse bid, who gets the majority of the money? It would be the champion, with the exception of if the WBO makes a modification to the order. They didn't do that this time around, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So they didn't make the modification favoring Crawford with the 75-25 split?
Yeah, or any type of modification, like for example, when you had Crawford versus Porter, and they had made the modification for that to be, if the first bid took place, it was going to be 60-40 instead of like that 75-25 or whatever it is.
Of course.
They didn't do that this time around. So regardless of what Crawford was going to be asking for or what was going to be offered, I just really doubt that there was going to be anything that Crawford would accept. They just said that the minimum bid for the fight would be $200K to start off with, and no modifications outside of that. So
wow,
they were just adhering to the rules as far as what they posted. So as far as them actually having the fight or having Fundora give up the belt, if I don't see anything as far as any notes, I think Fundora might have a way to keep the belt still.
Wow, you know what? Yeah, you know what? If they didn't make any modifications, that pretty much seals it then, huh?
Yeah.
In my mind, it does. Well, I'll tell you what, you snooze, you lose, brother. But once again, guys, and let's just be clear. The only reason why we're saying money talks regarding a Tszyu Fundora rematch is because this pay-per-view would have had to have sold extremely well. If it does a minimum of 350,000 to 400,000 purchases, then yes, I could see them looking at a rematch possibly. But Ronnie, how well do you think it did on pay-per-view?
I don't know, man, because I haven't heard anybody say anything yet. And I'm not sure, but I think, people love the first time something happens. So I think people bought this fight, and I really think when they switched to Fundora, and I don't think Keith Thurman would have done much, because I don't think people really wanted to see Keith Thurman. But I really think when he got injured, that when they put Fundora in, you just felt the excitement of the fight. People knew this was going to be a good fight. So I really think people really bought this fight. So, but time will tell.
Time will indeed tell, guys. And we want to welcome John to the show. He says PBC could offer Tszyu the option to put his Fundora rematch on the line against Spence in about 5 months. Winner faces Fundora in November, December. So once again, that brings up a very good point. Thank you, John, for being here and supporting the coach. Sampson said Fundora will most likely have to have surgery on the nose, which was bleeding profusely throughout the fight. How long is the healing process for that, Coach Ronnie?
Yeah, that could take about 3-4 months, for it to heal up. But then you can't just go right back in the train and get hit on it, because it takes time. That's a broken nose. It's going to take time, and I say 5-6 months that before he can probably get hit on it again. And That's going to be tough, man, because if you fight before then, before 5 or 6 months, you got to remember you got to train. You go train for at least 2 months,
Yep.
7, 8 weeks, for the fight, and and you could do whatever, put the ball on and put the helmet on or anything. That's going to be difficult, for him to do that, man, because it's going to affect his breathing. It's going to affect everything with a broken
Yep.
nose.
Indeed. Thank you for clearing that up, Coach. And yeah, you get a big cheers, Coach, to Mr. G. Thank you for the question to our coach, Ronnie. We appreciate it, brother. And he also says this for good measure. Spence should rematch Crawford instead of being a big cat about it. Yep. We know what you really meant. You could have said instead of being a big willow about it. You could have also said that. Mr. Willow. Now here's the affordable dentures and implants sponsoring this segment. This is the official affordable dentures fact or fiction prognostication. James, the next one, please.
Here we go. And shout out to Affordable Dentures and Implants for sponsoring this section of Fact or Fiction. Here we go with number 5. Errol Spence Jr. will shock the world by announcing that he has hired living legend Ronnie Shields to replace Derek James as head trainer. Fact or Fiction?
Fiction.
Oh, boo!
I mean, I don't know, man. I know Errol, but I don't know him that well I mean, we talk when we see each other, but other than that, no, I don't see it.
Well,
I think him and Derek would probably mend their fences.
Well, I tell you what, like you said in this business, money talks and BS walks. Coach Ronnie, here's the bigger question, more important question. If he doesn't compensate Coach Derek James and pay him 10% of what he grossed rather than what he reported to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, would you take on that assignment knowing that he shortchanged Derek James?
I would have to get it. I would have to get it to where he understands that I want a percentage of everything, not just the part of the purchase. The purse is everything, not just what you get up front. Because you got to wait for the pay-per-view to come in, to say, okay, now you're getting another $50 million over here, and he should be the first one to say, hey, let me pay my trainer. Let me pay him because this is a part of the purse. And, and I think a lot of fighters get that mixed up when you're talking about, what is the purse? If they promise you $10 million up front, okay, but you still got the pay-per-view to count. And you can't count that until it happens, and, being back in the day with Whitaker and Holyfield, all those guys, we've always got paid on pay-per-view money, and, and fighters should know that that's part of the purse. That's not extra money you're getting. That's your purse. It says in your contract that you get a certain amount up front, and then you get a certain amount, after the pay-per-view is counted and everybody, the TV gets their money first, and then everything else goes to the fighters.
Yep. So I don't think it sat well with Coach Derek James when he found out that Bomac got a big fat $2 million payday from that fight. And that's when the trouble started for Mr. Errol Spence Jr.
Well, because Crawford understands, Crawford understood from the very beginning that that's part of the purse, and it states in the contract that you get a certain percentage of the pay-per-view as part of the purse. It's stated in the contract. So, but I don't see the problem with guys wanna, you've been with this guy forever, and then all of a sudden it's a problem to pay the guy.
Oh
Why
boy.
is it such a problem to pay? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I will never understand that, Coach, because you guys sacrifice a lot to devote your time to these fighters.
Oh, so much, man. We do. We spend a lot of time. And, although trainers don't get in the ring, you know, on fight night, but look how much we get in the ring before fight night. Look how much we
Mm-hmm.
put up with, and, people don't know what trainers go through. You don't just go to the gym and that's it. It's more to it than that. It's so much
Indeed.
more to it.
Indeed. Indeed. Thank you for that, Coach. And yeah, so if Errol Spence, if he decided to do that to you, well, you would introduce him to a special gentleman named Mike Miller now, wouldn't you?
And you already know.
Yeah. So our listeners, if you don't know who Mr. Mike Miller is, would you care to introduce him to your listeners today?
Yeah, Michael Miller, he's a lawyer out of San Antonio, Texas, and he's also a manager of a lot of fighters. But he's represented fighters who've had trouble with promoters before and with other things in the sport of boxing. He's a really good man. He's a fair person. He, he's just a great man to know and to be around. And, so many fighters are so lucky so many fighters go to this guy when they have problems. He represents a lot of fighters, to either get them out of a contract or make people abide by the contract. That's what he
That's
does.
it. That's it. That's it. Mike Miller, the best in the business, guys, bar none. The only
Absolutely.
gentleman I've ever known to squeeze money out of Don King after suit was filed.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ronnie.
No, you're right.
So, Derek, should have had Mike Miller in your corner. That's all I'm going to say. But, guys, let's move on. We're almost an hour in. We still have a long way to go, at least a couple more. James, number 6. I love this one. Number 6.
Here we go with number 6. All right. Philip Hergovich versus Daniel Dubois will be for the vacant IBF Heavyweight Championship of the World on June 1st in Saudi Arabia and will be aired live on ESPN, Fact or Fiction.
Well, I don't know what it's going to be aired on, but it's definitely a fact that it could possibly be for the vacant IBF title, depending on what happens with Fury and Usyk. If they come out and say that, they're going to fight a rematch, which is speculation. Everybody is thinking that's going to happen. So, but we're definitely, going to be training for Daniel Dubois, and we're definitely going to be training to fight for the IBF vacant title.
And when does camp officially start, Coach Ronnie?
Monday.
And there it is, guys.
He's been working out already. He's in Miami right now. He's training, doing conditioning, and then Sunday he comes here. So then we get started on Monday.
And there it is, Coach Ronnie. There it is, guys. You heard it from Coach. And I tell you what, that just cranks this fight up as if it weren't already great. Cranks it up to first class now, doesn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. And it's on a great card, too, with the undisputed light heavyweight fight, So.
Yep. And guess what? Bob Arum has already announced that this card is going to be televised for free on both ESPN and DAZN. There it is. There it is, guys. I love it. I love it. And guess what? The fighters still get paid a good, healthy purse from the Saudis. Woo! I love it. I love it. So you don't see Philip Bergovich pulling an Errol Spence Jr. on you, do you?
No.
I'm kidding, Coach. I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course not. Get him, Mike. No, I'm kidding. Number 7, Big JR.
Here we go. Number 7. Former WBA junior welterweight champion Rolando Rolly Romero will ditch heralded coach Ismail Salas and go crawling back to Cromwell Coach Bullet Gordon and make a comeback at 147 pounds later this year. Fact or fiction?
I would say fiction.
Whoa.
He said he retired, so I'm gonna take him as his word that he's not gonna do this anymore.
So what did he say he would rather be doing on a beach with 2 escorts, Coach?
Of course he will.
He's a man, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
He's
Chihuahua.
a funny guy, but yeah. But look, I mean, he said he was retired, so I'm gonna put him in retirement.
Yeah, and look, after that post-fight press conference, I really felt for Rolly, and he looked ostensibly embarrassed. And what was his only comment on the post-fight press conference, Ronnie? Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
He said, Happy Easter, everybody. And he walked off. Woo!
That was a good one.
Vintage Rolando.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, though, it's going to be interesting. Now, Ronnie, did you hear the same things we did? And JR, feel free to chime in as well. Did you hear the same thing that I did, that Rolando was killing himself to make 140 and was drained beyond belief going into that fight?
No, I didn't hear it, but am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. Roller's a big guy.
Yep.
He's not a small kid, and he could have got started late trying to make this weight. I don't know, but you can't take away from what happened in the ring. Isaac Cruz deserved to win, and that's with no excuses. It's no excuses. Rolly was the champion. He knew about the fight months ago. He had time to make this weight, and sometimes guys wait too late to start doing it, and that's a consequence that you suffer. So, but I don't want to put a black eye on Isaac Cruz's victory.
Yep. I tell you what, Coach, how do you see a fight playing out? Because to be honest, I think I may be the only one who's interested in this fight, but in my opinion, in the immortal words of Eddie Hearn, well, this fight's going to be a cracker, right? Old man Ismael Barroso versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz. How do you see that fight playing out?
I think Isaac would beat him. I really do. But I want to see Matisse and Isaac Cruz.
Oh, boy. The irresistible force against the immovable object.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
I would like to see.
Oh,
I think that's the best fight at 140 pounds that could be made.
I agree wholeheartedly. To the anyway, don't get upset with us for saying that. Don't get upset at Coach Ronnie for saying that, Devin Haney fans. Come on now. I already know what we're going to hear tomorrow. And there it is, Coach. Who do you see walking away as the unified champ after that?
I see Matisse.
Oof.
This kid he's good, man. He throws punches. He's in shape. He let it go. He's a fighter, man. He's a real fighter.
Yes, indeed. And we got several questions now in the coach or in the chat. Several new listeners want to welcome you to the show, guys. Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields, sponsored by Affordable Dentures. And we'll get to your questions in just a second after we welcome my brother, Sly Tendencies. Welcome to the show, sir. He says, howdy, coach. I saw Samson saying Fundora would rematch Tszyu in November. Do you think Fundora got lucky with the cut? Also, question number 2, Bam versus Estrada. Oh, gosh. Bam Rodriguez versus El Gallo Estrada prediction. Wow.
Well,
First one, though, coach.
I don't think Fundora got lucky, but, look, luck happens in boxing. Just looking at the first round, it was a pretty decent first round for both guys. The second round was pretty decent too. And cuts happen in the sport. Things happen, accidents happen, and you have to take it for what it was. And again, I think the corner should have had the referee to call the doctor in to take a look. Before the fourth round, which is the third round, I think they should have took a look. And then, you couldn't do nothing after the fourth round because then now you go to scorecards and you don't want to do that. So, personally, like I said, I think after the third round, I would have called the doctor in and I would have told him, hey, man, my guy can't continue.
The official. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. I was just going to say that's the official mascot of Real Boxing.
Yeah.
Ronnie Shields on World League Boxing. How do you like that? What's his name again, coach?
Marley. Like Bob Marley?
Marley. Hell yes.
Marley. Yeah.
And with April 20th coming up, Marley.
That's right. But look, I think the fight was going to go the way it was going to go, regardless of the cut. I think with Fundora's height and the way he was boxing really good. I don't think the cut made a big difference. I think Tszyu, he was trying to knock him out. He was throwing some really power shots at Fundora, and he caught him with a couple of shots, but Fundora didn't go anywhere. I think they was looking like trying to do things that Brian Mendoza did, and Brian Mendoza just got lucky and caught him perfectly, and Tszyu didn't get that. So I don't want to rain on Fundora's parade because he fought a hell of a fight, and he deserved to win. And as far as Bam and Estrada,
oh boy,
nobody's going to beat Bam.
And there it is. Nobody's going to beat the phenom, Bam Rodriguez. So understanding that, coach, why on earth is Eddie Hearn putting this fight in Arizona rather than coronating the new king on his home turf?
Well, again, it comes down to money, and it could be the site fee is really big. And that's all I can say, because, Bam should, he should have protested. Hey, man, I want to fight this in San Antonio. You could get a good enough site fee for that.
The gate would be astronomical, sir, compared to Glendale.
Oh, absolutely. But you never know what's under the table too.
Oh boy. There it is. Oh, you don't know what's lying under the table. My goodness. Right. Thank you, those sly tendencies. We appreciate you supporting the coach on this day, and thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, UK, Rolly the imposter lost as deserved. Old man Barroso won the fight against him and was robbed. Yoga Flame. That was a real Rocky type story, which Barroso had, but boxing was rectified by the way of Pitbull.
Yeah, I agree. Sid UK, I agree with you.
And there it is.
Absolutely.
There it is. You get the coach's endorsement. Welcome to the show, Jairo Galvez. He says, Coach, would you ever work with Errol Spence, and would you change anything about the way he fights?
It's a possibility that I would work with him. And I would have to really go back and look at a lot of his fights and see what I see. I've never had to study Errol, so I never did. I watched a lot of his fights. And of course, as a trainer, you look to see what you think a guy should be doing best. And I'm sure it's something that I probably would want to change. But with him being who he is and being a welterweight champion for a while you know, it's not a whole lot you can change. You know, he was good with what he did, and but just only a few things, I guess, that I would see that maybe, you know, I would say, hey, we need to try something different on certain things.
And you know what's funny? Thank you, Heido, for that excellent question. And I can tell you with great certainty the first thing that Ronnie would implement. Brother, do you know what a feint is? Start using some damn feints instead of that volume jab that someone can time like a clock. Are you kidding me? I know Coach Ronnie. Feints, touch jabs, hard stinging jabs to the body, chest, and head. Mix it up in different intervals. You know what that is, Errol Spence? That's called an intelligent jab, sir. Ching Yao. Am I wrong about any of that, Ronnie?
No, you're right about it. Absolutely right.
Thank you for the question to Coach Heido. We appreciate you being here and supporting the coach on this day. Swerve, we already talked about your initial question, so I'm giving him this one, sir. But both of them are excellent. Coach, is 154 full of B-level guys, or is it that competitive that nobody will prove to stay undefeated?
Let me tell you something, man. 154 is probably the best division in boxing right now. I mean, it really is. You know, I got 3 guys at 154 that you'll be hearing about real soon. And they're going to be, you know, it's going to be hard to stay undefeated at 154. I'll tell you that right now. You know, it's going to be tough. And just watch and see what I'm telling you. 154 is going to be the hottest division in boxing.
Names, Coach. Drop some names, brother.
No, not now.
Oh, let's see. One is Greek and the other one is Cuban. I know that.
There you go.
In time, guys, in time. Thank you, though, brother, for the question. Excellent question, and thank you for supporting the coach, Swerve. And want to welcome our brother, Boxing Scholar, to the show. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother, the Boxing Scholar. And I know I will see him at the Scottish Rite Temple downtown on May 3rd for our next TMB event. I've got credentials for you, my brother. We'll see you ringside on May 3rd. Thank you for being here, my friend, and supporting the coach on this day. We're running out of time, though, guys. Let's see. Want to welcome our brother, Charles. Gosh, I need to get my eyes checked. Salute, Coach Ronnie. How long before Tszyu becomes a contender at 54? Oh, man. You let the cat out of the bag.
He's already a contender at 54. He's ranked I think he's ranked number 8 in the world right now. So he's already there. He's fighting the main event in Orlando on April 26th.
Yep.
There it is. I've got a musical gig at one of our sponsors, Halftime Pizza, on April 26th with my son. 3 sets of classic acoustic covers. Guys, if you're in the San Antonio area, come out to Halftime Pizza. I'm going to be picking the old 6-string, and my son's going to be singing. How do you like that, guys?
All right.
Yes, the old man can still play music. Woo! Sly says this also. Is Ergovich got confirmed fight, Coach? Okay,
yes.
Sorry about that.
It's confirmed for June 1st.
There it is. On ESPN. Woo! For the IBF Heavyweight Championship of the World. Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. T. Sanders says, thank you for your time, Coach Ronnie. Yes, sir. Thank you. And no, I'm not going to play Freebird, Sly. Sorry to disappoint you. But I might play That Smell from Leonard Skinner. How do you like that? And he says this about the Philip Ergovich news. Isn't that great, guys? That is a great fight, and we can't wait, Coach Ronnie. And I tell you what, we're going to be pulling for you guys on this show. Do we have another fact or fiction? Let's just make it one more because we're running a little behind. You pick it. I think it's just one more, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had 2 more, but we'll just go with the.
Well, no. You pick any one of the 3. Why don't you give us one of yours, or if you think 8
All right.
is a must here.
All
So
right.
you make the call, sir.
I'm gonna pick one of the two that I had on here. All right.
Very
Here we
good.
go.
Let it fly, my friend.
We're gonna go with this one. Arislandi Lara will answer the call out by Janabek Alamhanula and turn back the clock and take Janabek to school. Fact or fiction?
That could be a fact, man. That could be a fact. Because and you know what? That's a good fight. That really is a good fight. And, I won't be surprised if these guys have sparred a lot before, because being in Vegas, both of them being in Vegas, I think these guys probably have sparred before. So, I'm going to say fact. I'm going to say a fact.
Wow. Old man Lara getting it done, becoming the unified middleweight champion. Oh, wow. We'll see if that comes to fruition, guys. And Sly, who's he fighting? Get ready for this, guys. Filip Hrgović versus Daniel Dynamite Dubois. That is a truly great fight. Coach Ronnie, how do you see that fight playing out, sir?
And, I just started looking at Daniel Dubois, and, this guy, he's strong as a mule, he can really punch. So, but Philip can punch also. So I'm not afraid for Philip to, have to get in exchanges with him. I think Philip is a faster guy. Dubois is kind of slow. He's not a fast guy, but Philip is. So we're going to have to use everything to try to command the center of the ring. And once we do that, I know in my heart that Philip will knock him out in the later rounds.
Now, you talked about this earlier, Coach, that, chin makes a huge difference at the world-class level. Who's got the advantage in that class or in that category, Dubois or Hrgović?
Well, Dubois has been stopped before.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Philip is undefeated.
And especially after the Zhang fight.
After Zhang fight, Zhang is a strong guy, but, and Zhang hit Philip in the back of the head. That's when he went down. So that wasn't a punch on the chin that put him down. So Philip has, he takes good shots. But, the best way to take a shot is to not to get hit with it.
That's it. That's it. But I will say this, from what I've seen in the current top 10, I would have to say that Filip Hrgović may prove to have the best chin in the division. Those are just my thoughts. JR, would you concur?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You know what? Just give us your last fact or fiction, brother. Let's hear your next one.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go real quick. Richardson Hitchens will score a knockout over Gustavo Lemos on Saturday and then call out Subriel Matias for a fight that will happen in December. Fact or fiction?
Oh,
that could be a fact, but I wouldn't be calling out Matias.
Guys, oh my gosh, April 6th is going to be a great night of boxing on DAZN, guys, in your main event of the evening. Richardson Hitchens versus the badass from Argentina, Gustavo Lemos. That is must-see TV, in my opinion, Coach.
Yeah, that's a great fight, man. But I still wouldn't be calling out Matias.
Unless I didn't have a neck like Pitbull Cruz.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so there we are, Coach. Congratulations, you survived this week's edition of Fact or Fiction. JR, thank you. Great job, brother. I love your last two Fact or Fiction as well. And JR, any parting shots for our listening audience there?
Hey, listen, ain't no ducking or dodging nobody. It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Woo!
No, that was a good series there from Coach Ronnie Shields, and we got some great answers for the Fact or Fiction, and also great answers from the questions coming from the chat. So big ups, of course, to Coach Ronnie Shields. And give a thanks to the chat for supporting here on Real Boxing with Ronnie Shields, and keep supporting War Week Boxing as he has great content on his channel.
Thank you very much, JR. Couldn't do this without you, my friend. Excellent job as usual. And guys, don't forget to tune in tomorrow evening. I've got a special one-on-one with our dear friend, Dimitri Salita, about everything, his relationship with Coach Javen Sugar Hill Stewart. He's also going to give us his relationship with the late great Emmanuel Stewart and talk about the future of Dimitri Salita Promotions on DAZN and everywhere else. Coach Ronnie and the official mascot, Marley,
Yes.
of Warwick Boxing. Give us your parting shots for a listening audience this evening.
Yeah, just keep listening to Warwick Radio, and you can always follow me on Instagram at official Ronnie Shields.
And there it is, guys. On behalf of J.R. Bell and the living legend, Coach Ronnie Shields, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to Warwick Boxing, sponsored by Affordable Dentures. Have a great evening, everybody.
Affordable Dentures proudly presents Real Boxing with legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields.